Camera 3 rolling. 3, 2.
Hello once again and welcome to African Stars Club Legends. We are joined by none other than Doc Noble, former captain of African Stars. He steered African Stars to 2 consecutive Domestic Cup finals in 1980 and 1981. He enjoyed so much success with African Stars. He was among the first group of players that was selected to represent South Africa in the South African Provincial Currie Cup tournament in 1977 during the maiden edition of mixed race football in apartheid South Africa. Doc, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Doc, we are here to talk a little bit about your stay with African Stars and your football career from where it started and so on. Luckily, the two of us come from the same town, the Ghanaian town of Garanja. I've watched you as a kid and played against you during your time in the Spoilers. You're probably one of the best players who have ever come out of the Ghanaian town. So can you just walk us a little bit down memory lane about your football career?
Carlos, it's a big story, that one. I don't know where to start if I would be taking you back on the history line. However, you see, when I hooked up with the soccer, I was on a farm. And then my brothers, the other brothers, during our holiday came and was soccer ball, and we had a nice play. I think from that moment, I think it caught with me, the football. But I was still on the farm, and they went back, and in 3 months' time, I mastered a lot of things on my own. And when they came back, I was the one that was leading them. So that's where I hooked up. So, and then I went to the school in Okahanja. When I came there, I also played with the big guys in the school grounds where we were playing, because that's where we were grooming the players. And big guys would bully you and whatever, but actually that's where you learn. Street football is where you learn the tricks, the trade of the football, being awareness, where the ball is going, what is it doing, and so forth. And then basically from there, my friend, most of Asep, he's the one who introduced me to Spoiler, because we were playing young football, and he said, but now man, we are big enough, man, we can play in the team. But he's older than me, but he wanted me to usher him in.
It was a very good forward.
Yeah. And then he said, basically, man, let's go and play. We cannot just play for the second division or whatever. And we forced ourselves in the team. Some spoilers.
And you went to MLH, and I remember during the time when you came back with Jefta, you played for Spoilers. And you were a totally different player. You were different from all the other players. Your vision and the way you played football. Then I remember at some stage you went to Germany. But when you came back from Germany, you brought a different dimension to the game. What did you learn in Germany?
Well, it's the other way around, Carlos. I first went to Germany in 1968, 69. I was, for the whole year, I was in Germany. But it was not about football, with business. Music. So the whole year I was in Germany. And there I was exposed to the German football. We were watching on the television. Sometimes we would go to the stadium and watch how they play. But it's shortly after 1966, which was the World Cup in England. So many of the recaps were on the television about Pelés, Eusebius, and whatever. So that caught my interest very well. And basically, we were not, however, while we were not playing the football there in Germany, it inspired me. When we came back in 1970, I went to the secondary school in Caribbean, so which is also a German-based type of arrangement. And we had a PD lecturer there, or the teacher, who was a German guy. A straightforward, simple guy that was just having one vision for a football. The football is played from center to the corners and over the air, and then you must come in and hit a goal. So that was the simple football that he was teaching us. Not the dribblings and TikTok passings and whatever. Get the ball. No back heels and those things. Get the ball in the center, get it out of the wings, get it over in front of the goal, and 5 or 6 guys must come in, and one of them must hit the ball. So that was the simple football that he was teaching us. But sports was something that was in me. So I would train a lot at Motherhood. I would train a lot. And that's how, when I came here from Motherhood, fitness and a little bit more knowledge of football, I could fit in and dictate what was going on.
Well, talking about wing play, you obviously had a lot of great matches. I barely see you having an off day. But there's one particular match that I remember very well. You played Sparta in Walvis Bay. At the time, Sparta, they were very hot. They were being teeth left, right, and center. That day you were so you were playing on the right wing. You remember that match against Sparta at their field? I think it was 1978 or something like that.
That was for African Stars?
Yes.
You see, when I joined African Stars,
153.
when I joined African Stars, almost for a year, I didn't have a space in the team because it was star-studded. And as such, you see, you will fit in where they will put you in. Especially also when I came to Madrid, I was fit in the fullback, as we were calling those days. Like, 2 fullbacks, I was one of them in the league because of my size and fitness. So that's where it is. But in 3 months' time, I got to gain fitness and ball control, and I just said, no, I'm not going to play here. And I went back. When they said, play there with the African Stars, I would gladly go out and play. So in order to impress, you see, that's where you are basically saying, this is my opportunity. Whether it's my left position or the right position or the center forward or wherever. In those days, if you get an opportunity at the African Stars, you must prove. That is what the opportunity I was having that time. That's why I was saying, now I must at least deliver, so that when I go back, at least I must come into the game. Because the position I was playing for African Stars as a player, a great player was playing there. Geiger was playing for them as a captain also. So for me to come in from Okahanja and measure into that position, it was very difficult. So if a position is up front, wherever, I will pop in. And even also in my making, if I go to a town like Gentmasop or wherever, if the people are saying, oh, hey, stop now, but we must play for us, we must help us, then they will say, we must play center forward. I will ask him, where is your weak point? We don't have a left wing. I will say, I'll play left wing. Let your best person play the position that he is playing usually. Let me cover the other positions that are weak, because now you put me in a position, that person cannot play the other position. Now we are weak, double weak. So that's how I basically learned my football on various positions.
Talking about that match in Walvis Bay, you brought a new dimension into wing play. I mean, a lot of wingers, they used to cross the ball, go down the line and hit the ball hard. But you brought the style of just squaring the ball. You pull the ball back to the midfielders. It's something that we never saw before. You brought this thing into the game.
Carlos, my usual position at school was the center forward. So now you are playing with people that are coming from that school that will bring the ball in for you, either on the air or on the ground. Sometimes you play in another team and you play that position and you are staff. Basically you are staff if you play with other people. You play, let me just mention a name, a person like Kabushi. Very strong player. But when he's having his ball on the left wing, he'll go for the goal. The center forward is zero. So basically, those are the things when you play in another team, on a center forward position, you are staff. Because the guys that are on the wings are very strong and they go for goals. Now, being a center forward playing now on the right, on the wing, I would say, now I must support that situation. And this is how I was really trying to do it. Say, now you're out here, your thing is to support. Your thing is to support.
Now, Doc, you played for a very long time for African Stars. Having played for clubs like Spoilers, Battle Boys, Ogahanja Mannschaft, Rangers Katutura, DTS, yes. Now, how was the atmosphere within the African Stars camp? Obviously, I also experienced the same feeling as the majority of players came from Ogahanja. So, what was kind of the cultural difference like? I mean, it looks like you are a happy bunch of players together.
See, playing for African Stars, deciding to join African Stars, was not a big problem for me from Okahanja's side. And it was a problem in Windhoek. Windhoek was a place that was racially
too tribalistic.
Tribalistic. And those days we had a very nasty welcoming from the spectators when we were playing for African Stars. But the camp, the players, most
I
of
remember
them,
you were called all sorts of names like DTA and all these things.
many names, I don't want to repeat those type of names, but it's coming from my people were calling us those type of names. But nevertheless, it was not, you see, coming from Martin Luther High School, where we were not having these things, coming from Okahanja, we were not having this type of, knowing all the players in the team, the spirit was actually accommodated from the player side. You could talk to anyone, everyone. There were some players that you obviously wouldn't know, like Jiva or Kiri or guys that were from the...
They were not from
Okahanja. But they were also eager to play. They were eager to play and will accommodate you in that context. So from the word-go, you were just the bellies. You could say anything to them, they could say anything to you. And that is basically that bind us together quickly in the team. However, on the field of play, it would be difficult because then you must select 11 guys. 11 guys that are good. And if you are not good,
the best.
they are the best. If you are not good, you will sit on the bench. In those days, the replacements were just few.
Only in case of injuries.
Case of injuries and whatever. So it might be that the whole month you will be on the bench if you are not strong enough. When I came, almost for a year, as I've said, I was on the bench. I was on the bench of saying, no, man, I'm not playing football. I must make a plan. Maybe go to another team or whatever, because I used to play for Rangers Katutura. So I was contemplating to say, man, maybe I must go back. But then all of a sudden I said, but then I am a failure. I am a failure if I don't do that. And I said, no, that cannot be. And I said, but what are these guys doing that keep them on the field? And I watched them. Training was like a match for those guys. How you bully yourself into the guys, how you keep the ball, how you are fast on the ball, how you get on the positions. Basically, that's how I led it and said, okay, this is what you are doing. And that's where I basically said, I'll fit into this team.
Now you were among the very first blood players who were selected to represent South Africa in the interprovincial South African curriculum. And then you also played for Ogahanja Mannschaft, which was a predominantly white team, and then DTS. How was the integration, like the racial integration between the blacks and white players? Cultural differences and all these kind of things.
You see, the Ogahanja Mannschaft was not actually a team that was in Ogahanja already. They had the Ogahanja football team, which basically did not have the players. Most of the players, the white players, were farmers. If they are not farmers, they were somewhere else or whatever. So there would be maybe 5, 6 players that were there. And when the idea of playing in the league came, that's when the guys talk about, let us bring these players together so that we are having a team in Ogahanja.
A decent team.
Yeah, and that's why the name was just a Mannschaft. That's the Mannschaft. And not the spoilers or black beauties or whoever. No, whoever was good was welcome into that team. So The first, basically, all of the guys were young guys that were playing. Those who didn't play, who have issues, they were not playing. They were not playing. They moved away. I can mention a name like Shorty, also Da Costa. Yeah, he didn't want to play.
He was not exactly a very good player.
Yeah, but he was a maintainer of the systems and whatever, but he was not a very good player. But he was persistent when he came from, I think, Angola or whatever. He was a good player. He was making things happening.
He came from Mozambique.
Yeah, I don't know, Mozambique or wherever. We just called him from Angola. And then some of the guys were siding with him and they were not playing with us. But they were young guys, especially the Rapun brothers. Rapun brothers, that we also used to play in the GTS together. Yeah, and Rapun and even the father invited us into his house and saying, "This is my team, Manshap is my team." He is the one who sponsored me on the trip to South Africa. Saying, from the first time that Namibia is electing a team in a black flag, I will support you. And they gave me whatever money that was needed to go to South Africa on that trip.
And then you became captain of African Stars, probably one of the most successful captains ever in the history of African Stars. Can you tell us a little bit, what was the secret behind the success of African Stars? I mean, you led that team to various victories, and the team was really playing some good football.
Carlos, the first thing for a captain is discipline. If you are ill-disciplined, your players will be ill-disciplined. As a captain, you must show some examples of being a good captain, good person on the field. People must be able to trust you. So I thought firstly when the guys say we are selecting you as a captain, I thought this is a job. And then Oscar said, "Welcome, you are a captain," and give me a tag. So I didn't know, but it's something that maybe they have discussed and say, they let us do this. And then I said, no, now I must show as a captain, I must be a front runner.
I must lead by example.
I must lead by example. And mind you, we had good players. And also during that time, we had a very young good players coming into that will just destroying the teams up front. The Jukus, Jacksons, with a couple of other guys, the names I cannot call the names now, but good young guys came in during that time. But we had a very good, stable defense line. The goals we had Jiva, very reliable goalkeeper. George Carissa, Karincha, Albertiero, Merino, Kiri, very strong, reliable guys that were defending. So Willie Rita, so we had a strong defense line, and basically the changes mostly were up front, where you were making the changes. You yourself were the one that was coming into there and make the differences when we lock up. You would come in and say, make a difference, and make a run and have a bullet on the goal and whatever. We had also the very short time when I was captain, the guy from Congo. Dodo Zena. We had the Americos. Those were the guys that were making the differences with the ball on the ball, basically. Whilst people are concentrating, when they are getting the ball, they will make the differences and such. So we had a very good, strong establishment in place. Yeah.
Now, you after retiring, I mean, you came a long way with football. You were the first president of the Namibian Football Association, and you went to serve on various committees. You have done so much for Namibian football. Can you just tell us how was it like? I mean, driving Namibia to integration of international football. What was the challenges?
I think that was a big challenge. Firstly, there was no constitution. I tried to put together something based on the FIFA guidelines. The biggest challenge was to mold the different leagues that were there into one league. The challenge was how many teams can we have in the Premier League? 24 was a number that was mentioned, 22. My idea was basically 12 teams in the Premier League. That was it. Now, obviously, as a leader, and knowing the demand from people, I would go low so that the people can come, so that we reach power. So, molding these different entities that were there, not the players, the entities that were there, the white football, the Kadudra football, the Walvis football, the different football associations, all the federations that were there together. That was a big challenge. Especially, you would recall when we had the interim committee with the independence, and John Mosono offered to be here on his own course and to grace the occasion. Some said he's not going to play, he must play.
With Frank Beckenbauer as well?
No, Rummenigge and Camacho from Spain. Yeah, and we said, okay, let us do two teams, which is the national team, Sheffield, and an invitational side, so that we can have an invitational side that will play either way. And Domo offered to be here, and I think the crowd loved him to see him, what he was doing.
I remember that this was probably 10 minutes old when the crowd was chanting, when he was on the bench.
Yeah.
They had to bring him on.
Yeah. So
he scored a beautiful.
He scored a beautiful for the occasion that was there. So bringing together those entities, the entities of the various, that was a problem. That was a big problem. However, we managed to have a 16-team league, and we started off with that one, and we moved from there.
Coming back to African Stars, you played with so many great players. Which players really do you think were exceptional?
Carlos, you see, the exceptional player would be, if I can mention in his own, is Jiva, because there was no match for him. No match for him.
For me, he was the best goalkeeper I have ever seen.
Yeah. So you will have that. The others, if you are saying you will have another player there. If you say Kabushi, you will have another player there that is having a different style of play. If you say Dognow, you will have another player that is having a different flavor of play. So for me, being that person, playing in that position and keeping clean sheets that he was doing, I would say he's the one that, in my time, he was the one that I can say is the exceptional player. The rest of the players, they were good. They were good. The George Curry said, Kiri would be playing left back, in the middle, centre back. You can put them everywhere, you see. So they were good players that were there. The silent person, Karincha, very good player. He's not talking anything, but you will work your way. He does his job on you. He will get the ball from you, either way or whatever. He'll get the ball from you. So many players basically, the team was exceptionally good with that, gifted with talent. But obviously, if you take a second goalkeeper to Jiva, it will always be below standard those days.
What was the influence of Oscar Mengo as a chief conductor in the middle of the park? And having just come back from South Africa, played for Kaizer Chiefs, what was his, what type of player? How would you describe him?
I think I came into being an African Stars when there was a threat to Zimbabwe, or where was it?
Zimbabwe, and they went with flames to Rhodesia.
Yeah, and
they were suspended.
They were suspended, and African Stars had a shortage of players. And that's, I think, that's where the drive came, that I must be also coming in. But Oscar is one of the players that I know could not take losing. So he will run his legs off in order to win. He will do everything that he can do on the field for that 90 minutes in order to win. That is a kind of Oscar. One of those exceptional players. One of those exceptional players, because you're not going to get another Oscar member in the context that we are in. A very good player, ball dribbler, visionary on the field. He'll make plans. Whilst you guys are playing there, he'll make plans. However, he was also a person that was driving the team off the field. He's the one who was making the moves for the team on the off the field. So he was a great influencer, good player, organized things. If you think what, all of a sudden we find ourselves in Kimberley. I don't know from where he got that idea. You were in Kimberley playing football there.
I remember that trip with Bobby.
Yes. So you guys are planning things around here. You think that this Oscar's idea is already somewhere else. You think African Stars does not have players. Here comes Tonji Magic and the other colleague, bombed in the team. So whilst the things are happening, he will move on to see what can he do for the team's improvement.
1985, 8 of the country's top teams decided to break away from SWAFA and formed NSSR. I'm sure you were part of that setup. What were the challenges, for me? Because I remember authorities denying the clubs facilities to Wolfsburg in Windhoek, and they could also not represent South West Africa in Palaka because apparently they were the Rumble kind of league. So what were the challenges?
I think 1985, I don't think I was playing football.
You stopped in 84.
I stopped in 92. 92, 83, 82, I stopped playing.
You didn't play in the Music Cup final in 1984?
Yeah, no. What was happening is basically in those days, the guys, we formed a league that was organized by combined league of whites. And whilst these things are going on, those teams that you have mentioned said, no, we're not going to play into this team. The biggest idea was the money issue. Gate takings. We are the ones that are bringing the crowd. Those teams are not bringing the crowd. How can we be together?
How can we benefit?
How can we? So even if we go and play on their grounds, our supporters are coming. They're getting so basically that notion of we are fitting the existing situation in where this was the drive with the two type of strong arrangements. I was not part of the breakaway system. So whilst I was we had a Central Football
Association,
CFA, which I was also chairman once, and so forth. Whilst I was not playing, I started playing the casual football with GDS. So that's how I landed in this, just to play because it was casual arrangement. So it was almost like breaking down the football into two sections. Luckily, in the 2-3 years time, the independence came and brought us together again. Otherwise, we would have those two strong situations in football further afield.
Now, we all understand that football dynamics have changed quite a lot. In comparing football from previous year during the play time, and I'm sure that now and then you go and watch the odd game. So, what is the difference? Where do you see the difference between? Because a lot of things have changed. Diet and the techniques, a lot of things. But in terms of quality, what is the impression of the current crop of players?
Current crop of players are very young. They come in very young. Does not have experience of playing football on the streets or in the schools. If you take the school sports today, in the year maybe they are playing 4 or 5 games, if not less. I'm just talking about Augustine. They might be playing 3 or 4 games. Those years you will be playing at least 8 games for the high school. Now, a young player playing this small football, because playing fields available in the areas where they are playing, same, is non-existent. If you take, for instance, in Okahanja, you would go on the main field and play in the afternoon or whatever. If that is not in the location somewhere, there's an open space where you will have a match or whatever from that section and this section. We used to play a Damaranama type of soccer in Okahanja. You go to that side, you play that match there. The other day, you guys are coming. Other day, you guys are playing against the colors. We had those type of things because that's where you are learning. So today's young players, firstly, there is no field of practicing for them because they must be paid when they go practice. So maybe 10 games that this guy is having. Good player. Now he comes to African Stars to play for African Stars. So basically, quality-wise, this person must learn football in the first division of Premier League. And that is the lack that you see when you go to the field. You see, this is a good player, but he lacks purely, not only experience, he lacks talent. His own talent, he lacks his own talent. He's not improving his own talent. He's not strong enough in the legs. He's a youngster. He's maybe 19, 18 years old, but if you see him, he looks like a boss on the field. So when he's boss on the field, there's no discipline in the player. When I'm hearing sometimes from people, when you replace them, you must now please him. When you are on the bench, you must please him. When you take the players to a game, you must please them. So today's games for players, it's more pleasing games from the management. That's how I see it. I don't know what the managers are saying. It's more pleasing the player in order to perform. Those years we had a love for the game and for the team. If these things are not there, basically, you're not part of it. If you love the game, you will play for any team without any problem. If you love the team, then you will come back to your team and you will play there. Because that is what we are doing. Today, my love for spoilers is still there. It's still there, but I cannot play football, unfortunately. My love for evidence is there. Because that love must be there from the player. Now, today's players, the love is maybe money, maybe how they are being treated. There's no loyalty. I don't have, you see, when you are loyal to yourself, you need to develop yourself and say, I would be one day, let me as a Kero outside, be a Messi in Namibia. And therefore, I'm waiting. You will see when you are having a tournament those years, you will see the Umatis brothers on the road, not with the team. You will see Fosi running his kilometers or whatever. You will see everything starts in camp. They will see them running from lines motors to wherever. You understand? Okay. That discipline to get yourself ready. And if you miss the lines motors, you know that basically you will be on the bench. You will be on the bench. So these are the things that we're having. After the Chedago, may his soul rest in peace. Wasn't a good runner, long distance, but he will come. But you need him on the field.
He was very lazy.
Yes, very lazy, but he will come and he will do. But when it's a speed kick on running, he was the best. And on the field, he will show you what he can do. So those are the things that were happening that we will have a team. Maybe the training methods were not there. They were maybe just this type of training methods. But it kept the players very fit and kept them for 90 minutes on the field.
Now, Doc, almost more than 3 decades of independence. We still don't have a professional league in Namibia. And when we surpass by countries like Botswana, the majority of our players are playing in the Botswana league. And if you look at the South African league, the best players there are Namibians. Anamo, Porto, you name them. over the years. I think we have the talent. What will you say, what should be done to get our league to that level of fully professionalism?
Carlos, there are two things that are, let me just say first one thing. Money is the issue. Those places you have mentioned are having the means of money. I don't know how they have gone that they are having the money. South Africa, we know they are sitting on the multiple internationals and whatever, and that can sponsor them the way they are sponsoring. Namibia is a small country with the economy that we are in. The type of money that players would be demanding because they are playing for, say, national team, they are comparing themselves with whoever is somewhere playing for South Africa. These guys, for camping, they're getting this, they're getting it. Now, we must give them the same type of treatment. But you don't understand that maybe your standard, even if, without prejudice, I'm just mentioning names. Shalolile is a very good player. You must pay him what he's maybe getting on that side when he's this side. But now we are taking a player ABC from chess. Now you put him in. The standard of player for Shalolile and standard of playing for this player in the national team is not the same. But now they must earn the same money. And if not, then there is a problem. Now that mind basically is the one that is killing us. Money is the one that is killing. Now how do we go about to make money? I think it's a very long story. It's somewhere that we must go and say, maybe we must make a sports foundation whereby people must invest money. Because there are a lot of companies that are putting in money that are saying we know from the previous line of putting in money, people who are having businesses were the white people. They would be putting money into rugby. Rugby now is dominated by other people. Rugby does not have money. Who is not putting in? The money, the person that is having the business is not putting in the money. So the sports itself is not in a position to generate the resources that we are saying that they need. There's no way that you will have a sport that will generate the resources that the players need in order to compete with the other side that they are getting. When you pay the national team, we're just talking about the national team players. When you pay a national team player $100, you must pay the ladies $100. In order to be equal in pay level. So if you don't do that, it's a problem. It's a problem. Those people who have a problem, they don't want to play because they're not being treated equal. So that equal is a problem. With performance and what you are putting in and what you are getting, it's very difficult. You create equal play, but you don't put in equal. That is the biggest problem. I think there is a way that one can sit down and say, what can we do in order to get the money in the sports so that we can pay the players what they want? Because players today are not in the teams that we think where they are. Maybe they are outside where the second divisions are playing. But are they getting enough exposure on the field where they are? If we take back, many players were coming from outside for the big teams. You can name them for the big teams. They are not from the central, they are not from Ketmasu, they are not from Walvis Bay. It's mostly the imports that were coming in from other places that were the good players there. Now, the players are basically outside there. Now, how do you maintain the systems there? Because that is the system that must be maintained so that it can produce, because that's the Dutch of fabric. If that fabric is not manufacturing the players, you cannot have the good thing. Now, all of them, if they are having two shots or whatever, they want to come to Windhoek. They want to come and play somewhere here and end up in maybe a losing streak. Because he cannot be supported. is not having a place to stay. Money is not coming because the pain is not there. Now it thinks, I'm lost here. So many talent because of the money issues are being lost. I think if we sit down and look for money, how can we get the money? And create a sports foundation and put in money. All these investors that are around here, all companies that are around here, if you can sell a national idea to them and say, we need to develop a sport in order to alleviate unemployment. Because when you are having a good sports programs, you will have people that are working for them. I don't know even today, African Stars, how many people are working for African Stars on someone's cost, but not generating the resources. African Stars is not generating the resources that it needs to resource the players or maintain the system of African Stars. Now, if there is a pot which will say we are having these things so that when African Stars is playing in the Premier League, you get the resources. You know what they are doing in England when you are promoted to the higher division. You get a chunk of money in order to maintain yourself into the system. Here you are from Ebukiro, you are promoted to the Premier League. You come as you are. You come here and you compete with African Stars that is established into this system, and you are competing. 2-3 games you are bombasting African Stars, and then you are missing. You don't turn up for the match in game also. You don't turn up for the game in Okahande because of resources. And that is the big problem that we are sitting with. If we can address the issue of the resources, I'm not saying everybody must get the millions that is there, but at least a standard type of resourcing so that the Football Association can say, I'm in charge of these things.
Talking about resources and money, there is this Stone Age culture of community clubs. Now, if one has to look back, most of the successful teams are clubs that are owned or that have been taken over by people with big pockets. And look at Black Africa today. Same is happening to Ghana. These are big clubs. And it's very painful when you watch them going the way things are going now. 11 areas have been relegated. They won the league, I think, in 1991, if I'm not mistaken. One of the top clubs. So, what would you say for the club to be sustainable? I think the culture is called Stone Age culture of community clubs. The community have a say, but they don't put money into the clubs.
It's a sad story that you mentioned there, but I think it also stems from the money issue. You get in someone with these resources today that cannot sustain those resources. You mentioned Orlando Pirates, it's the same story. You mentioned VA, it's the same story. 11 Arrows, same story. Someone with a big bag of money comes in and says, now I'm in charge, I will get what. And that bag of money, dry up. And then you have created something here that you cannot maintain. Expectations. When you are advising people, they don't listen to you. I have witnessed the building up of GDS. I've witnessed the building up of Rebel School. I was the president when DA wanted to build a stadium. I said, Joseph Martin, Joseph Martin was running around. I said, Joseph Martin, please don't go on, don't move on with this project, stadium. Try and get yourself a training field, which you can build up to whatever. Because the playing fields for competitions, it's not a problem. Now you want to build a stadium which you cannot maintain. Because you are having problems with the team already. Now you want to get a place where you can have coming together, because you are having a good team. When the team is winning, you come together. That is where you are grooming the team's existence. Our was the chairperson. He went and conveyed the message. He was swearing at me. Who the hell does he think that Herod way or whatever? Why is he telling us to do this? However, what happened to that place today? Someone else's place. Tiger's place, what happened to that? Because we want to build a stadium. Where is the Real Madrid playing? Where is Real Madrid? It's a municipal arrangement. Where is Bayern Munich playing? They don't own these things. They play there.
Same with Chelsea.
Same with Chelsea. They play at the stadium that exists for them having rights to do those things. Now, we're having 8 teams in the center that can play at the Independence Stadium or the Seminar Stadium. That is other people's. Now you want to build a stadium because we see those things. And that is the mentality that we are sitting on. We want to emulate what the others are doing without knowing what the cost was, what the real cost
consequences.
Yeah. So I'm very much sorry for what is happening. As I've said, I've got a big issue that the historically all teams are dying in this way. We can go back and say Hungry Lions, where is it? You can go back young ones. You can go back and say Surrender Box. All the Robert Chandis, Rangers from Tuna. Maybe they are still there. Chelsea. Great teams. And it's because of these things that we don't build something that is there for the team. We just go into the car, go play, and then we come back, we won, and then end of the story. We don't build the things. Not building is the problem. You must build it. Get a place where you can say, this is where we must at least train, or this is the place where we come together, when we are happy, when we are sad, we come here because we have lost someone, or we have someone is sick, one of our players. We don't go into the street and say, what we say, come together at our place when we are coming together, and that's how you build it from there. Small. One of the best services today is the DTS field. The playing field. It's one of the best playing fields. I have not seen for a couple of months SKW because that was one of the other best. Yeah. The surface. And it's small building with other entities that are making the money for you for that. We are basically having a football, netball, at the most, if we are adding something, we don't even have other things that are coming. It's just football, and netball that we are talking about. Netball in clubs, I don't know whether it exists. Maybe it's other entities nowadays. African Stars was having a good netball team. BA was a strong netball. Tigers was having a strong. Orlando Pirates was having strong netball teams. Yeah.
Now, back in the day, most of the teams, second teams, which served as feeder, even for some Indian players when they're recovering, to come back, they start playing in the second team, and then that thing is gone now with the emergence of youth academies. There are hopelessly too many youth academies, and you don't really know where these players are placed or where they're going to after graduating from these academies. What is your take on that?
I don't know. You see, if one would be reading the constitution of the academies or the aims and objectives of the academies, then one can comment much better. For me personally, right now, it's someone's business. It ends there. I bring my child there. He's running for the year. I pay. And it's end of the year, I can say, no, man, I'm not happy, but I can stay away. I don't know whether there's a progression report or wish from the, no, Carlos, you cannot take out your child because now we are here. We will be moving now from here to there. I don't know whether they're having this type of things. I'm just hearing academy, I'm hearing Vauxhall, I'm hearing those things. It's entities within the big frame of football, which is not existing. I'm saying it's not existing. Players, if you take it from because it's coming from foreign, if you take it the academy of Manchester United, Liverpool, it's a system within the bigger system. Like, you won't hear unless you go in and find out. Ryan Giggs is a product of the academy. Beckham is a product of the academy. 9 years old, 6 years old, because there's a progression to them. Now, where do these guys, where do they aim? Maybe one day own the guy and say, I'm selling you to Botswana or Angola or whatever, and make the money or whatever. But these things, because you cannot have a system outside the existing system. Football is the one umbrella thing under which things must happen. I'll register my academy, but where does it link from there? Where does it link from there? Now it's from there, it's just individuals that are linked to the teams. Now every does not come in at that academy, look for a player and say, oh, this player, now we cannot afford, he's good, but we cannot afford him. Because now you are charging him. You're charging him to for me, Spoilers did not ask any money for me to play for every business. I just said, now I'm playing there, and boom, that was it. And the people were saying, as long as you are happy, go play. Now, today, a talent that we want here, because we don't have a system that we can also mature this talent in we cannot get him in. But if that academy is within that structure, we can get him in. So that he can say, okay, now I'm in the academy, the C, then the next year I might be in the B, and then I'll go to A, and then I can mature to the top side. It's not there. And that, for me, it's that person's business today.
Well said, and with that, we've come to the end of another edition of African Stars Club Legends. But before we say goodbye, we want to send our condolences to the bereaved family of one of our Stars legends, Albert Mukaya, the man who scored the winning goal in the James Finishers Cup final against Black Africa in 1975. May his soul rest in peace. So from all of us here, it's goodbye. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Carlos. So the camera is on.
Yes, no.
Hey.
My other friend.
Small stuff.